My name is Manfred Nikitser. I'm the lighting designer for this year's Klangwolke here in Linz in Austria. The theme this year is the Odyssey, a journey through worlds. The journey takes place on the Danube here in Linz. Our concept this year is that we are having multiple boats that are our stages that are moving up and down in the Danube, coming into place for their performance and then go away and another boat comes in. So this is how the storyline works. And the Klangwolke is an annual event here in Linz. The target group is the live audience here on site. So we'll have about 100,000 people tonight watching it. So the focus is fully on the live performance for the audience here. But there's also a broadcast, so we have to consider lighting for cameras and all of that it works on broadcast as well. The Klangwolke is, I would call it, a creative show art installation. The special thing on this event for me is that it is for the audience like an immersive experience. We are facing a huge area, so we use about over 1 kilometer width, and distance to the boats is about 100 meters to 500 meters for the audience. So dealing with these huge distances is very different to any other show I've done in the past, because at a normal show in a stadium we are about 60 to 80 meters away from the stage, and this is like, you know, we are used to a stadium size, but this is like 4 times of a stadium. So that was interesting, finding the concept for the storyline and thinking where should the stages be, how will the boats move in order to tell the story, how do we shift focuses from here to there and have a variety of looks and all of that. With this size of an area was very challenging and fun to work with. I'm working with a very international team. We have a director from the United States, Francesca, our video designer, Katie is from the States, our set designer is from the UK, costume designer is from Czech Republic, like music producers are from the States, so it's like a very international team. The special thing on this year's show are the 3 boats, because they are very different to each other. So we have the tree boat, we call it, which is our main star of the show, I'd say, because it has this elliptical ramp, it has all these asymmetrical screens on the back, and then this truss steel construction in the middle of it that's covered with an ROE transparent flexible screen that looks like a tree by the end. So that is our main boat. Lighting wise, the main focus on all of the boats was in the first place to underline the architecture. The approach is more like in a theater than in a rock and roll show, I would say. And then the second boat we have is the triangle boat. It's called triangle boat because the set design are a bunch of triangles that are angled to each other. And in the middle, between the triangles, we have the main performance area where we have acrobats and an aerial that are doing a few performances to tell the story. And the third boat is the music boat, because it's a music boat because there's a singer on it, there is a gospel choir from the States on it, and there is a percussion set on it. And all of these 3 small stages on this boat are in a circular shape and surrounded by a quite creative installation of asterisks. So from the overall look, we have like this artsy asteristic circle stage. We have the very architectural modern triangle stage, and then the tree boat that's a very creative video installation. Lighting design wise, the most important thing for me was to show where we are, to sell this beautiful area of Linz and the Danube. But with this distance, that's not very easy, because you need very bright fixtures in order to achieve the looks you need for camera. The opposite side of Linz, where for the audience, is Ufer, and it has like small skyline. That is our background for all the performances, and I was looking quite a while, or actually doing a lot of calculations with many fixtures, which fixture I could use in order to light this huge area, because it's like 1 kilometer wide by 300 meters high from a distance of 500 meters away, because we can't place any lights on the opposite side of the shore. So we needed a fixture that that is bright and is a long throw over the Danube to color the skyline. And there were just really 1, 2, 3 options on the table, and luckily we were able to get the new Elation Brutus. We removed the extra lens in the fixture, so it turns from a wash light into a wash beam, and that adds another, I don't know how much more brightness, I'd say 30%. We never did a comparison. However, 600 meters colors is a complicated thing, and finding an IP-rated fixture that is in the size okay is fantastic from a design perspective and works perfectly. And as a wash beam, it also has this AirFX gobos, and that also gives more options in versatile looks. And then on the other side of the Danube, on the shore, we have beams on the floor, Elation Excaliburs and P6 floodlights that just basically flood over the Danube across. The boats have all the key lighting installed in towers or somewhere in the construction. So those were, I think, the biggest challenges, finding fixtures that can do the job, but also placing them within the set and stage design. So the challenge here was to find IP-rated fixtures with enough punch, but also with the right form factor. For the triangles, for example, I was looking for a while for something that can do a narrow beam on each of the sides of the I-beams, but also can be mounted directly on the construction. And luckily I was able to work with the GLP Fusion X Bar 12 on a previous show back in March. And I was like, okay, this is a perfect fixture for what we need here, because it's IP-rated, it has a zoom. The form factor is quite big already, so it's not like a tiny LED bar, it's a big LED bar, but with zoom and with enough output to light up a 10-meter long I-beam. So that's like one of our main fixtures in lighting up the architecture. We also have GLP XDCs that are just flooding all these constructions from the side that, you know, give a nice wash on the construction, but also can strobe the entire boat, and that you really feel from far away, okay, there's a strobe happening, not like something is blinking. There is power. Having fixtures like that was fantastic. I also have to point out the IPX5 Bar that is doing a front floor light for all the aerial and acrobat performances. The zoom is amazing. The zoom blew me away. Like the zoom compared with the punch of the output is amazing. I love these special events like this. I mean, there are a zillion unknown factors you're dealing with you don't even want to think about in beforehand, because you have sleepless nights if you think about the weather and like all the wireless transmission of signals on the boats, of the time code. All of these little things that can happen during the show and destroy your work. So making those things work was fun, and luckily I was able to deal with a crew that has done 3 or 4 Klangwolke in the past. So they gained a lot of experience. All these technical details are really well working because of the fantastic work of the crew of Supporting Role Austria, but also because of the crew chief and also my gaffer, Florian Bauer, who is really very deep in this project since years. For me, the fun part is the interaction within the creative team, like going through the process, and each of us kind of throws his ideas on the table, and then sewing all of these elements together to get the big picture was the most exciting thing.